Hello, amazing chemistry students. This is a quick little tutorial to let you see some examples of how to get this assignment, the assignment 1.4, complete for the Nearpod states of matter phet. Last year, hopefully you've done some phet simulations before. I'm pretty sure you did a phet simulation in physics class. When you see the simulator, it might look somewhat familiar, but for a different concept, maybe on velocity. I am not going to go through all of the instructions on this screen. You've already read through there, reading each slide, using the phet simulator, drawing particles, vector arrows, and answering all these questions. This Nearpod is a little bit longer than some of the other ones. So I have given you a little bit longer timeline in order to complete this. So this is due for you next Thursday, October 14th. So I'm not going to read through the supporting targets, but I am going to get started and kind of show you what I'm expecting for the Nearpod. So the first thing you always need to do anytime you have the Nearpod is click the join lesson. When you get to the first page, you'll see the beginning of each slide. So I'm going to click to the first slide. So you'll see on each slide, you'll see some reading that you can do, or you can see below each slide, you'll see me kind of sharing some information, reading what's there, but also adding a little bit extra. So I'm just going to click on play. Hello, amazing Roosevelt chemists. As you're going through this Nearpod, you will be having a learning objective as you're going through each of the slides in this Nearpod. So you'll hear my voice, and you'll also hear the voice of Mr. Schweitzer, who is one of the other chemistry teachers at Roosevelt. So know that whenever you're going through the Nearpod, you have the option to just read it. You'll also get information that way, but if you're the kind of person that needs to hear it, you can click on that and hear me or Mr. Schweitzer talking about what you see. So I'm going to go ahead and click on through similar information about the about what the states of matter phet is. You can click on there, and then I'm just going to continue to click through. So giving you information about what your expectations are for this Nearpod, and then you'll see information about exploring the simulation. So I'm going to just show you what that is going to look like. I'm going to show you a couple of the buttons on this interactive simulator. So you'll see the simulator. If it looks familiar now, great. If it does not, I'm going to just show you a couple things on here. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and do, those of you that are interested in knowing things in Celsius, so I'm going to click the Celsius button up here because that's going to show us the temperature here. So as I click this button here, you'll see I can heat up those particles. I can also cool those particles. I can also stop the entire simulation from happening by hitting pause and then hitting play again. There's neon, there's argon, there's oxygen, there's water. It's automatically always going to be in a solid, but then you can click liquid and then you can go to oxygen, but then you'll see that it's selected for liquid. Here we have different parts. You'll see that the Celsius is changing, and then we have gas. So gas for the water, gas for the oxygen, gas for the argon. So that's essentially kind of the first slide is asking you just kind of play around with that. And then it'll go to an open-ended question. During the open-ended questions, similar, you'll see an area where you can have the instructions explained to you, but know that whenever I say list 3 things that you notice in this about the simulation, you can type an actual list, like just, excuse me. Actually, instead of there were particles, and then you can go on and on and on. Another thing you can do as well, or in addition to, is you can record your answer. You can record your answer by just hitting record audio. And then as you're recording audio, you can then check yourself and see, okay, I'm going to hit stop. And then you can check your audio to see what it sounds like. I have to do a little rewind. Whoop, there we go. And then check yourself and see, okay, I'm going to hit. If you end up liking it, you want to end up hitting submit, which is behind my little video here. So you hit submit, or if you don't like it, you can hit trash. So in this case, I'm going to hit submit. And then as you're starting to answer questions, you again, clicking through and reading each thing in between. I mean, predicting this entire phet is going to take you about an hour. Know that you can come back and finish more later. This one's going to be about liquids. Excuse me, not about liquids. I take that back. This one is about I'm going to be asking you to draw particles when you basically representing this model. So I'm asking you to show what you know, like what does this look like? I'm going to look specifically at water, and here we have oxygen, and then I have argon. So I'm just looking for you to draw 5 to 15 circles to represent those particles. So the particles that are in solid state. I'm going to use the default of what is in there. So I'm just going to draw as best I can some circles. So I'm just going to draw 5. You can draw more than 5 if you'd like, but showing that they are close together. And as you are done, you always want to make sure that you click that submit button. So I'm submitting, and then you've got another open-ended question. And one thing I also want to reiterate or make sure that you know is that you can write a sentence or record audio for your answer. So in this one, I'm asking you, are those particles going fairly fast, relatively fast, or slow? And a possible sentence frame that you can use is, in the solid state of matter, particles are blank and they're moving relatively blank. So you can type that, or you can record your audio for your answer. You can also do both if you're feeling it. So that make sure every time you do something, I'm just gonna say the particles. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna hit submit. Obviously, you're gonna have more in your answer. Here we enter into liquid. Liquid's gonna be slightly different about the particles. So here it's very similar to solids, but I'm asking you to draw the particles. It says you can use 5 to 15 circles to represent the particles. Right now, I'm asking you to start thinking about those vector arrows. So to represent the speed of the particles. So here I'm going to do a couple of 5, kind of getting to where we're needing to go. And then at the end of each one, that's maybe not the best arrow. I'm actually going to do so I can show you. Showing the speed of the particles, remembering that the longer arrows means that they're going faster. So, or are they going to be slower? Or are they going to be super fast? So again, this is not necessarily the answer, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to check that out. So, I'm not going to erase all that. I'm going to say, are you sure I want to erase? No, I do not want to erase, but I am going to submit that. Again, it's not the answers that I'm giving you, but giving you an opportunity to see this. So this is going to look very similar to the solids, but now it's about liquids. And then you're going to see stuff about gas. You're going to see a little bit more in there. So I'm giving you a lot of details of kind of how to walk through this. I'm going to skip ahead to the last couple slides to show you one last thing that is going to be how you're going to interact with this Nearpod. So as I'm scrolling to the end here, I'm going to go, yes, it is a longer Nearpod, as I mentioned. So that's why I'm giving you more time to complete it. So you're going to see when you get towards the end here, that you're going to get to what I'm calling matching pairs. So you're going to see a description and you're going to see a concept. You need to be able to click those two things as considered to be a matching pair. So for example, I'm going to click on here. There we go. There we go. I'm going to move that up there with that little button there. Excuse me. So I'm going to click on solid state, and I'm also going to click on particles are locked in place but are still vibrating. So there's your example. When you see that it's matched, it is going to kind of give that little check mark. When it is not matched, it is going to give you a little indicator that you did not get it right. So you have an opportunity to get direct feedback. Then there's another slide of these matching pairs. In order to see all of them again, we're going to hit that button there to click up. And then you don't need to hit the submit button on here. And then lastly is you'll have a little quiz question referencing the barrel crush that you had from assignment 1.1. And then make sure whenever you choose an answer, I'm just going to choose a random one, and you hit submit. When you are done, you'll get an automatic feedback there. So I gave you a little clue there. It is incorrect. And when you are done and completely done, it's when you see this tap to start over. You are done at that point. If you want to end up checking, so if you're welcome to start the assignment now, you can pause the video, be done. But the one thing I want to let you know is if you want to double check your work, is that you can go to see if it's there is by going to grades. So I'll go to grades, and to see that it got submitted, I'm going to scroll on down. I'm going to see, here's that assignment. When I click on that, I can actually see all the answers that I've already submitted. So I didn't have it all done, obviously, but I can see all the things that I submitted. Here we go. Here's my drawings, all the things I did for drawings. So that's one place that you